How to be kid you again. Bring back your childlike wonder. Well, anxiety, people pleasing, not being honest, putting on a filter, just some of the normal things that we've learned to do now because of conditioning. In our younger years, maybe once we were like 7, 8 years old, it's probably the same thing, but not as powerful, not as learned, not as skillful as it is now, as we are now. But when I say kid you, I mean like, I don't know, child, like toddler, you know what I mean? 3 year old you, 2 year old you, maybe even 1 year old. 1 years old if you have any footage. Thankfully, the reason I can make this video mostly is because my father he recorded like everything from when I was born to like 12 years old, and it stopped, and then it kept going from 15 up. So yeah, he recorded like my whole life so far. So yeah, that's I'm very grateful that that's the reason I can make this video now, because I have a lot of evidence. Right now, most teenagers are anxious, you know. Most teenagers they always look around before they do something. Like, what would so and so say about this? They're very afraid to be themselves because they don't want to be judged. They have a fear of rejection, and as soon as they do get a friend, they become attached and they come off as needy, and then the friend doesn't want to be with them because they come off as needy, and then they leave. And this doesn't apply to all people, but I had a big struggle with neediness. Ever since I was like, yeah, 7 to 8 years old, up till like, you know, to present day, that's been a struggle, and that's been because of conditioning again. So what does a kid, and I mean kid as in the ages I just said, like toddler, maybe 4, no, probably 4, 5, probably. I don't remember much about that age. 6, because again, there's not much footage. 6 probably, and then no, not even 6. 6 upwards. You thought I was gonna say 6 and then 7? No. Well, I just did. But what kid you had that present you want, hopefully, or maybe you've forgotten it. Maybe you don't have as much footage of your childhood as I do. Presence, braveness, openness, honesty, non-neediness. Maybe, obviously children do have neediness for their, parents and bigger figures. We still do want friends as children. As kids, we do want friends, and we do want the attention of our family. That's how, because we're very dependent on our parents as kids, and I guess that counts as neediness. But outside of that, we didn't really have any anxious attachment to anybody. We didn't really care about the repercussions if we said something wrong, because there were barely any consequences except a little yell from the parents. Presence, because as nowadays you can't really say that, but as kids we didn't really have any devices, did we? Maybe Wii or whatever. There was no phone to scroll on, no Instagram, no YouTube. Maybe YouTube. Outside of the exceptions, we didn't really have devices like that, so we were present like all the time. Didn't even need meditation. And anxiety is something the black pill amplifies. Neediness is something the black pill amplifies. FOMO, fear of missing out, is something the black pill amplifies. And these are all things that we have now as older, as you have as older kids. Because the black pill amplifies this, you feel like the black pill gravitates towards you, and that's why you get sucked into it. Another reason why you get sucked into it. Kid, you would probably never even care about the black pill. And obviously, if you make the kid watch the black pill every day, then eventually it's going to start to adapt, condition again. But the black pill has basically conditioned you before it even became a thing, because the black pill mindset has been there way longer than the trend. So that's basically been the conditioning, a big part of your conditioning. If you had internet, if you had parents that weren't super duper confident in themselves, it's basically what you've been conditioned to believe now. And then when the black pill became a trend, that settled it for you. Kid, you would have one look at that and be like, what is this? That's not true. A funny story, in kindergarten I actually had like a lot of girlfriends, you know, not girlfriends as in like that, but like there's a story of when, I don't know if this is true because I don't remember, I don't know if I believe it, but mom picked me up and I was crying because all the girls were chasing me the whole day. I wouldn't say I'm the most handsome guy in the class even then. I mean, I was, but not because of solely because of the looks, you know. So yeah, that me would have taken a look at the black pill and been like, how is this true? What even is this? Obviously, if kid me could comprehend what I'm looking at, I had presence, braveness, wasn't very afraid. I guess that has more to do with personality. Openness. I don't remember if I was really honest. Probably not. Well, no, I probably was honest. Because again, I didn't care about any repercussions. And I had no neediness. And there are tons of clips to magnify that. And that's basically, I'm trying to come back to myself, you know, right now. That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm doing this, you know. So I'm doing all the practices. That's why I've written thousands of things on the wall. So how to gain the good and lose the bad. The good, I told you twice, like presence, but you know, that type of stuff. Or whatever gift God gave you that conditioning in the world has kind of diminished, pushed down. And also lose the bad, which is the anxiety and the anxious attachment style and that type of stuff. And it's with meditation. Now that you've been on your devices for years, you kind of need meditation to pull it back. Kid, you didn't need it because he hadn't been brain fogged by anything. But current you does need it. So meditation, it says here, talk to at least one person a day that's not your family. Now, if you don't talk to your family much, then maybe you can count in your family's people as well. But this is somebody. It's going to teach you to be more social. Try not to put on a filter when you talk to people. And this is probably the most important one, and it's to lower your dopamine. Because the title is How to Be Kid You Again, in brackets, bring back your childlike wonder. The world was new for you. Everything was great. Every time you ate something that had a little bit of sugar in it, it was like your whole day was made, you know. Now you can eat 2 packs of chips and you'll feel garbage. So lower your dopamine by dopamine detox. I told you about this in another video about cut the noise thing. I'll talk more about dopamine detoxing since that's a current training thing that I'm doing. It's a current exercise I'm trying to partake in right now. And I want to take it very seriously. I want you to do that too. So basically do things that give you as little dopamine as possible. Like, don't scroll too much, because the less pleasure you have every day, the less easy instant gratification you have every day, the more wondrous dopamine will feel once you actually consume it, you know? Playing football will feel 10 times better when you haven't scrolled all day before than if you had, let's say you've stared at a wall for an hour since you woke up. Okay, let's say you've done it for multiple hours, just staring at a wall. And then you go and play football. And then there's another you that's been scrolling for hours. And then you go play football. Which one of you is going to have more fun? The first one, right? So, to find things wondrous again, as we did it, as, you know, as I did as a kid, you gotta stop giving yourselves, you gotta stop having so much fun. Why I do this is because I'm not saying you should stop enjoying your day. Stop just doing things that bring easy dopamine, easy fun activities, easy pleasures, you know? I had a bad night before this. Went to sleep at like 5. Did a bunch of bad stuff. The only reason I'm doing this is because I just had a cold shower. I got a bit of motivation. But, so the most important thing is to take one step at a time. Because you can't just talk to somebody random if you haven't talked to anybody else that's not your family for a while, you know? That's going to be a little bit hard, especially if you have a lot of anxiety and stuff. It's a practice. If you keep at it every day, if you do a little bit every day, maybe you can start by looking at somebody else. If you've gone that far, you know, if you're that down bad. And then after a while, you can stop looking and start maybe like that quickly. You know, wave at somebody. Maybe from a long distance, because waving at somebody that's right there is kind of weird, you know? Just try to be socially calibrated. But essentially, that's it. So, to get presence, braveness, openness, and non-neediness, do meditation, talk to at least a person, lower your dopamine, and take one step at a time. Bye.